Hello everyone and welcome to the K-Maps channel. This is Kay Kritiques, a segment where we discuss all things South African television. So if that's the type of content you enjoy, please do like this video, subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so that you are in the loop every time new content drops. In today's video, we are discussing Showmax's newest original series, Outlaws Season 1, Episode 1 to 5. Outlaws is basically a Southern African retelling, or rather a Southern African version of Romeo and Juliet, because you have essentially two families who are feuding and two star-crossed lovers who are caught in the middle. We have our Biela family and the Tseole family, and let me know in the comment section down below which team you are on. Okay, are you team Biyela or team Tseole? So in the first few episodes, they set up the scene for us between the two families. So with the Biela family, they are from KZN in South Africa, Ebergville. They own the Okabeni farm, they are farmers and they are respected members of the community. They are a traditional family, they are united and well off. They do have a comfortable life. Their kids are Sihle and Bandile. Bandile is also married to Nolwandle, and they have a child named Nolwandle. He also works at the farm, he's the heir, and he's painted as a family man. Whereas Sihle is the darling daughter of the family, a daddy's girl. She's a doctor and she's essentially our Juliet in the story. And she is engaged to a guy named Kwanele. Then you have the Tseole family, who is situated in Lesotho. They are raiders, they steal cattle, they're just trying to make ends meet. And this is now a matriarchal home where the dad died. There's a bit of animosity between the two older members of the family, and then that translates to the two younger children. Leruo and Moretlo, who is his mom, they love each other, but the animosity comes with Tlali and his dad, and that makes Leruo and Tlali also not like each other. So there's a bit of a family divide and a bit of strain. So you can already see some of the differences between the two families, whereas the other family is united, they all love each other. In this other family, they have a bit of a civil war going on within the family, right? You have Leruo, who is the leader of the raiders. He's a bit hard-headed. He wants things done his way. It's either his way or we don't do it at all. He had to grow up at an early age because of his dad dying, and he is now our Romeo in the story. Moretlo is the mom. She's the matriarch. She runs the operation after the dad died, and she's part of an organization called the Top 4, and she's one of the 4 leaders of this raiding situation. She wants unity and fulfillment of family obligations, where her husband had promised Tlali, or had promised his brother, that he was going to teach Tlali how to shoot, how to raid, the fundamentals of what they're doing in the organization. And when he died, obviously Leruo took over, and Leruo doesn't want to teach Tlali because he feels like Tlali is a liability. And Tlali is painted as a hothead, he's impulsive, has a bit of jealousy towards Leruo, and he's painted as incompetent and a loose cannon. Those are our main characters in the story so far. So let us get into the actual plot of the season so far. So the Tseoles plan a raid, and we see that this is a big operation that they have going on here. It's not just some small town people who are just stealing cows. The South African police are involved. They have to go through a long process on getting information on the farm that they plan to raid, learning the routine of the farmers and the family, getting an inside man. In this case, Okabeni, it's Umafafa, who was a newly hired guy. So they had to see the weakest link because Umafafa hadn't been there for a long time. So he didn't really have a sense of loyalty to the Biyela family, right? Everything's going according to the plan until Usiphamula one of the workers notices and alerts the Biyela family. They then go after them, and they go after them with cars while the raiders are on horseback. So now that is a disadvantage to them because they're going into mountainous areas. A gunfight ensues. Tlali starts going nuts and he's shooting at any and everyone. He runs out of ammo and Leruo gets shot while trying to save him. So he's already painted as somebody who's irresponsible. Now we get why Leruo doesn't like this guy. Leruo instructs him to go home, and Tlali obviously won't do that because he's also hot-headed and he feels like he has something to prove because Leruo has been telling him that you are a screw-up and you're gonna mess up the whole operation, which he ended up doing. But anyways, they managed to escape with the cattle to the mountains, and as the Biyelas are rounding up the remaining cattle, Tlali shoots them. While they were defenseless, they literally didn't have guns and they were like, take the cows, bro, like just leave us alone. He kills the mom and the dad, and that's basically the setup for the plot points of this whole season, right? So they're having a funeral for the parents and everybody is devastated. This story is all over the South African news. Leruo and Tlali are on their way to sell the cattle, and they were going to sell them for 300,000 rands. Cows worth 1 million, mind you. The cows that they stole were worth 1 million rands, and they were going to sell them for 300,000 rands. They end up getting half because the farm owner in KZN was like, I do not want to be a part of this. You're even lucky that I'm giving you this half because you guys killed those farmers and you want me to be an accessory to your crime, and I will not catch heat for you guys' mistakes. And Leruo, when he finds out, he's angry at what Tlali did, and as he's getting angry, he faints because of his gunshot wound, which was not treated. Tlali takes him to the hospital where he meets Sihle, who we've already established is a doctor. So Sihle in this time was grieving and she just wants to get away and keep busy, and so she goes to work right after the funeral, right? And that's where she also meets Leruo. He's enamored with her. It's like a love at first sight type of thing, but because he's here illegally, he's not from South Africa, he's from Lesotho, he runs away and leaves the bracelet that his father gave him behind, which is going to be the reason for him to come back, right? So when he goes home, he has like a sneaky link that he usually hooks up with. I'm not going to say girlfriend because he doesn't want to claim her, so I'm just going to say it's his lady friend, and he pulls at the weekend on us. You know, when the weekend was like, I'll be making love to her through you, that's basically what he did because he was thinking of Sihle the whole time, which made me sick to my stomach because I'm like, you are a menace, because why are you doing this? And I just want to say, my girl's standards are very, very low, because why would she say to Leruo, I want to have your baby? Like, why would you want to have a baby with a man who doesn't even want to claim you, who doesn't want to have a proper commitment? And when I want to have his baby, do better, sis, for my own sake. Anyways, on the other hand, the Biyelas are finding it hard to deal with such a great loss. I mean, the parents were everything to them, not just their bosses, but also they were the mom and dad, you know, like losing both your parents at the same time and losing them so cruelly must hurt. Bandile wants to take matters into his own hands and seek retribution and justice, whereas Sihle doesn't want to deal with her emotions. She wants to suppress them and use avoidance and distracting herself with work and other things as a coping mechanism. Whereas everyone around her, her colleagues, everyone, her family, her brother, her sister-in-law, they're all telling her how to feel, what to feel, how to act. And I just want to say, we deal with things differently. Like, grief doesn't look the same for everyone. Not everybody gets hit by grief at that instant when it happens. You know, some people might go along saying, I'm okay, and then 5 years later, the grief hits them. Well, I'm exaggerating, but I'm just saying that not all of us are going to deal with things at the same time or in the same way, so we can't box ourselves, okay? Like, you can't tell somebody how to deal with their own emotions or how to go about that. All you can do is be there for them, but you cannot dictate to them how they're supposed to feel at certain instances. And Kwanele, Sihle's fiance, doesn't understand this. And this annoys Sihle even more because he's like, eat for my sake, why are you at work, blah, blah, blah. And Sihle is getting annoyed and she's like, can I just have a moment to just process by myself and decide for myself how to deal with this? And so now there's a disconnect between her and Kwanele because of this. And while she's at work, she hears this music playing in her office. And she goes and we find Leruo in the office and he's back for the bracelet. They have a bit of a moment because of the song that he was playing made Sihle emotional. It invoked so much emotion in her that she started crying. And honestly, I feel like she's just infatuated with the Leruo and using him as a distraction and to numb the pain, just to forget about her parents' death, whereas everybody's reminding her, your parents died, your parents died, your parents died. Leruo doesn't know any of that, so he's not going to remind her, so she can use him as just a space to forget and pretend that what happened didn't happen, which is not healthy, but you go ahead, girl. She asks him to play the song again. Phumzile, one of the nurses, who is annoying actually, goes and calls the police to come and arrest Leruo, which is giving xenophobia and discrimination, because at that time she doesn't know for certain that Leruo is a criminal. So why would she call the police and say Umgulugudu like he's a criminal? I mean, it is true, but she doesn't know that. Let's stop this thing of discriminating against people because of their nationalities. So Leruo is arrested and we see Captain Zwane, who is one of the police officers that they paid off in their operation. He bails him out. Sihle goes looking for him and I'm like, girl, now you also need to do better. Leruo is not bad looking. That's not what I'm saying. But every time that Sihle has seen him, he looks like he para. He's literally... Guys, look at this picture. Look at this picture right here. You can't tell me that you're gonna fall for a guy who looks like this. In Lesotho, he's all cleaned up and fresh, but in Natal, he always looks scruffy. So I'm very curious what draws her to him, because even from their first interaction, she was thinking about him the whole night, and I'm very confused as to why. Like I said, he's not bad looking, but honestly, I just feel like Sihle is using him as a distraction and as a way to cope with the grief, because Leruo is currently a polar opposite of Kwanele right now. So she finds out that Leruo has been deported. Leruo goes home and we know he's still gonna come back for the bracelet, but also he's planning another raid, which is just 15 cows. Now Kwanele comes to Sihle right after Sihle found out that the love of her life has been deported back to Lesotho at this point. They're going on a hike, they're going on a walk, and Kwanele being so insensitive. For me, it's the hypocrisy for me from both of them actually. Kwanele has been on this tip of, you need to deal with this, you need to cry, you need to feel your emotions, your parents just died, you shouldn't be back at work, you should be taking time to process this. Then on the other hand, you take her on a hike and then you're gonna tell her, I want to bring my family for lobola negotiations, I want us to talk about the wedding, but you just said that she needs to take time to process her parents' death. Which one is it, sir? And then Sihle, on the other hand, she's been saying, no, I want to move on with my life and I just want to be able to not have people baby me or treat me differently just because my parents died. But now when Kwanele is bringing up wedding stuff, she's like, seriously, you're gonna bring that up now? My parents just died. So which one is it, ma'am? Which one is it? But you know what, I get where Sihle is coming from. As much as she might not be handling or dealing with the situation, but her family's still in mourning. It hasn't even been that much time since her parents died. It's only been maybe at most a few weeks. And when are you discussing lobola negotiations? Chill out, bro. You're not making it easier for yourselves, but I feel like that's the writers giving us something to dislike Kwanele about, and they did a good job because now we don't like him. Obviously now we're gonna root for Leruo and Sihle to get together. We do not condone cheating in this house. Do not cheat on your partner. I just feel like Sihle should break up with Kwanele if she wants to be with Leruo and not string Kwanele along. Meanwhile, Okabeni, Bandile finds Mafafa finally, and Mafafa gives him a name, says, I don't know where he is or where he's from. All I know is that he gave me the name Usifufane, which is Leruo's alias. So then Usiphamula, who works at the farm, calls his friend from Lesotho, who so happens to be Tlali. And in my head, I'm like, while they were having that shootout, didn't Siphamula recognize Tlali? Like, if you're friends with this person, surely you would have seen the madman shooting at you. Good, hey, this is Tlali mos. Tlali snitches on Leruo and leads Bandile and Siphamula to Leruo's home. They are in Lesotho. They knock on the door. Inside the house, Leruo and Moretlo are concerned, like, we're not expecting visitors this late. They pull out a gun, and that's how the episode 5 ends. Okay, what are my thoughts so far on the season? I think Outlaws is a good story. The plot is good, but I just feel like it's a bit slow. Like, we're 5 episodes in and there's not really much to talk about other than just this raid. I thought because it's an action film, it's gonna be action-packed a bit. I thought it would be more fast-paced. I understand they're trying to build a story. They're trying to get us to interact with the characters and see more of the characters and see which characters that we're gonna love, which characters to hate. And they're building the story without rushing themselves, where things start to not make sense. And I feel like the casting was great. Everybody's playing their character well. The chemistry between the characters also amazing, exceptional. I do think it's going to get a bit messy. I feel like this next raid is going to be the catalyst for a full-on war. It's about to be a bloodbath. I also think Sihle doesn't love Kwanele. Sihle doesn't and has never loved Kwanele. I just feel like it made sense for them to get together because their families are friends, they're around the same age range, they have the same background, same upbringing, and it was sort of expected for them to get together. I'm sure that was what was spoken to them while they were growing up, so they just thought it made sense for them to get together. And I feel now with her relationship with Leruo, it's gonna cause a huge problem because Kwanele's dad borrowed Sihle's dad 2 million rands while they were having an off season. So that's gonna cause a problem now, because if Kwanele and Sihle break up, the father's gonna come back and ask for his money. Where's our 2 million rands? What do I predict? My predictions for this season going forward: Leruo's not gonna get caught, as much as they painted it as, oh, he's finally caught now at the end of episode 5. He's gonna escape because his name, he's gonna say, I don't know who Fufane is. My name is Leruo. Tlali's resentment for Leruo is gonna grow. Leruo and Sihle are gonna spend more time together and they're gonna start actually falling for each other now. I feel like Tlali is gonna be the one who finds out about Sihle and Leruo. He's gonna snitch. And that's going to cause a huge rift in the family because Leruo's mom is totally against Zulu people because they killed her husband. And I also feel like with Tlali, when they're going to do another raid, and Tlali is either going to snitch on Leruo or Tlali is going to mess it up again and they're going to get caught. And that's how Sihle is going to find out who Leruo is. I feel like Sihle is going to find out on the season finale Leruo is Usifufane and partly the reason why her parents were killed. Also feel like Bandile and her husband are part of the top 4. Bandile, why is she so insistent that her husband must take over the farm? Because they want to be able to get inside information, and I feel like they're the ones who betrayed all the information to them. So yeah guys, that is Outlaws season 1 episode 1 to 5. Please do let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when another video drops, and I will see you guys in the next one.